Hello and welcome back to Game of Trades, your #1 channel for videos on the stock market and cryptocurrencies. This video is going to be focused on Bitcoin. We've had some pretty crazy price action over the past couple of weeks, so we're going to discuss what happened from a technical level. We broke back below the 200-day moving average, so we're going to talk about that, what it means for Bitcoin in the next few months, in the next few years. We're also going to take a look at a few different charts that are going to tell us what's happening underneath the surface on Bitcoin, the illiquid supply. This is what drives the price of Bitcoin, what the short-term holders are doing. This is the dumb money, right? You don't want to be following what the dumb money is doing, and quite a few other indicators. Hopefully that will all give you a full picture of what's happening on Bitcoin and where we think it's going. Now, of course, we're big advocates for the fact that from a long-term investment standpoint, Bitcoin is a major asymmetrical bet. If you're willing to hold through that volatility and look longer term as it grows into a digital storehold of wealth, that's the 5 to 10 year horizon that you should have when you're investing in Bitcoin, not paying attention to those small moves. But a lot of people are calling for much lower lows on Bitcoin. That's one of the most frequent comments we get on these videos and on our Twitter account. So that's what we do in these videos. We take a look at how the market internals are doing on Bitcoin and where we think price is actually going to go over the next few weeks, over the next few months, and what kind of opportunities that can provide. So if you want to follow that with us, make sure to smash that subscribe button. And now, without further ado, let's get right into it. All right, so we're going to begin with some of the on-chain data that we talked about at the beginning of the video. First of all, the illiquid supply, right? So Bitcoin is all about supply and demand, right? You need to understand that there's no earnings, there's no real valuation. It's just what people are willing to pay for it. It's just about how much demand there is for it and how much supply of it there is. And so if you can take a look at that in a detailed and objective manner, you'll know what the price is going to do. So let's start with this illiquid supply, right? So what does illiquid supply mean? It's the supply of Bitcoins that's not in circulation, that's not being sold, that's just being locked up, stored away, and not used. And this is quite a fascinating chart because you can see the illiquid supply is going up over time. This is why Bitcoin has been going up over time, because there's less and less supply really available over time, and so that pushes up the price over time in those big bull and bear cycles, gradually going higher as the amount of supply and circulation really goes down. So taking a look at this is important. You can see what's happening right here on my cursor. We're making a higher high on the illiquid supply. So compared to that high we had at the top in April 2021, the illiquid supply was pretty elevated, and then you had that drop in the illiquid supply. Let me just zoom in here so that you guys can see clearly. We had that drop in the illiquid supply right before the big meltdown, and that told you that we were going to see some volatility on Bitcoin. But since then, we've had the illiquid supply come back up. Bitcoins are being stored away and locked up, and we've made a higher high here. And so I wanted to go back over the past 4 to 5 years here and actually spot all the moments where we had a higher high on this illiquid supply ratio after a period of consolidation. And so that brought me down to this chart right here, where I put up all the moments where you had that illiquid supply come up to make a higher high, similar to what we're seeing right now. And over the past 5 to 6 years here, we've had this a handful of times on Bitcoin, 3 times since 2016, each of them occurring before major moves up in Bitcoin. Now that makes sense, right? When there's less supply and circulation, it pushes the price up. That makes sense. But most importantly, that answers one of the biggest questions out there, is whether or not we're beginning a bear market, whether or not this was just the first leg down of a bear market. This was the relief rally, and now we're poised for much lower lows. You can see throughout the bear market in 2018 to 2019 here, this entire period, you didn't have a higher high on the illiquid supply. You didn't have that same accumulation where Bitcoins were just being locked away and not put in circulation like the fundamentals we have right now. So big difference between what was happening here and what's happening right now. That's the first point I wanted to make in this video. By the way, if you enjoy these charts, if you like the content, the research, the data, the effort we put into these videos, make sure to smash that like button as hard as you can. We're really trying to grow our crypto fan base. I think there's a lot of misinformation on Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies on YouTube. And so hopefully these videos can give more people access to actual useful data to navigate the cryptocurrency market. So thank you very much for doing that. All right, so let's take a look at what the short-term holders are doing. So these are people that have bought Bitcoin for the first time very recently. And so this chart is showing you how much of the total supply of Bitcoins are being held by those recent Bitcoin investors. Now, I've looked at these charts extensively, and it doesn't really give you perfect tops or perfect bottoms, but it gives you the type of environment you're in and what type of risk reward you have to the upside or to the downside. And so you can see here, as we were making this top in 2017, you had short-term holder supply go absolutely nuts here, telling you that the risk reward for holding Bitcoins was diminishing rapidly here. And same thing on this move up leading up to March and April 2021. You had a major move up in the total supply held by short-term holders, telling you that the risk reward for being in Bitcoin was relatively elevated here. So again, this refers back to the concept of contrarian investing, not doing what the dumb money is doing. And so you can see what's happening here in 2021. We have the total supply of short-term holders that's relatively low. So the risk reward on Bitcoin right now is quite attractive, same as it was back here in September and October 2020. And this is something we've often said, that the setup right now looks a lot like what it was right here. So we could potentially see a very, very significant rally from current levels as we see all those short-term holders that sold throughout the past few months get back into the market and push Bitcoin into excessively bullish momentum. And that's the moment where you're going to want to be booking profits. Now, I want to take a look at the Crypto Fear and Greed Index. This is one of the best measures of the actual sentiment. So we looked at what the dumb money is actually doing, but the Crypto Fear and Greed Index tells you how optimistic or how fearful the market is based on the actual volatility, the dominance, the social sentiment on social media, surveys, and a few other factors. And so again, while it doesn't give you precise bottoms or precise tops, it gives you the risk reward. And so the risk reward back here throughout the summer was extremely favorable to enter long on Bitcoin. And this is exactly what we were talking about here on YouTube and on our website for our members. Hopefully we were able to convince a large enough number of you guys. But right now, as we're speaking, we have this fear and greed index popping back into fear territory, telling you that that risk reward is back on the positive side here. And that's actually one of the most common positive feedbacks that we have from our Bitcoin posts, is that on top of actually providing high quality data, high quality research and analysis, it helps you keep your heart pressure down. It helps you cope with that volatility you have on Bitcoin. Stay away from those emotions like greed, stay away from those emotions like fear, and actually flip that and take advantage of them. Right as we were approaching 53K, we didn't call a top, we didn't call a correction, but we said, all right, it's not the moment to be greedy. A correction here is possible. The overall market is very optimistic. It's not the moment to be going all into Bitcoin, but now it's an entirely different story. Every time there's significant moves on Bitcoin, we take a look at all the data and see whether we should be leading towards more of a buy or sell rating, which we put up every week in those Game of Trades ratings across asset classes, whether that's the stock market, commodities, Bitcoin, altcoins. We have strong buy to strong sell readings for short, intermediate, and longer term time frames. Now, we also try to answer as many questions on these posts, whether that's with actual written responses or in our premium videos. Now, the website update is almost done. We're going to be launching at the beginning of October, and there will be a separate membership for cryptocurrencies. Right now, it's macro and crypto for $29. So we're really trying to push that to as many people as possible. So if you want to have access to both crypto and macro, now's the moment to get that free trial. All right, now let's take a look at the technical picture on Bitcoin. At the beginning of the video, we talked about the 200-day moving average, Bitcoin failing to stay above it, right? That's something that I believe a lot of people are worried about, right? If we take a look at the historical result of that, it doesn't typically end well when you have that type of false breakout above the 200-day moving average. We had that in February 2020. We had that right here. That was just a test of that 200-day moving average. Same thing in 2014, a test of that 200 and Bitcoin falling back under, beginning the bear market. But if you've been watching our videos, if you've been watching the past 3-4 videos we've had on Bitcoin, you'll know that this was something that we didn't predict, but we knew was very possible and would not damage the bullish case, right? When you've got this many people looking at the same moving average, a lot of new investors that don't understand the macro data, the fundamentals behind Bitcoin, just watching this moving average, that's when you can get a big fake out move like we have right now, right? A dip below, bear trap, that's what it's called, then a move back above. So considering everything that we looked at in this video, the bullish case for Bitcoin heading into the end of the year is still very much intact, right? The price is currently testing the 100-day moving average. If we zoom out a little bit here, it's been a very important level of support throughout this bull market, considering the sentiment that's very fearful right now. I think the bottom is very close on Bitcoin right now. Could we have one more fake out move here? Absolutely. We don't yet have any divergence on the RSI, so we don't really have technical signs of a bottom right now. But from a fundamental standpoint, the bottom is very close. If we zoom out on this chart, this is my favorite chart on Bitcoin, and it just continues to surprise me how well these lines are working, right? This mega channel capturing these two major reactions from the 2017 top, the 2021 top, and all these big reactions along the way. That's what helped us find that support level at 29K. It's what helped us find that resistance level at 53K. And so right now we're at pretty strong support in terms of this price channel. This is strong support. These are big reactions that we have on this line, right? Big reactions. So I would be surprised not to see a move up from here. I don't try to look at the short-term price action. I'm not going to tell you here that, we've hit the bottom and that it's only upside from now. That's just impossible to say. Nobody can do that. But what I can tell you is that the bullish case is intact. The risk reward is incredibly bullish here, and we expect Bitcoin to be a lot higher a year from now than it is right now. So now on that good note, make sure to smash that like button. Make sure to subscribe if you're enjoying these videos. And now in the meantime, I wish you good luck on your trading and see you next time.